Any Michael Jackson joke never goes well with black people. That's actually what I realized. Like I feel like the pink works well. Are the ears in the right area? No, I'm not trying to offend people. That's the thing that people like get wrong about me.
No.
Like I'm like I'm not trying to be offensive. In my mind, I'm not offensive.
Well, I thought-
They all think they're gonna grow up and be famous, and it's like, do you really think you're that interesting? You know, like, and then like all they're talking about is like their gender and their sexual identities, and it's like if that's the most interesting thing about you, then dare I say, maybe you're not that interesting. I don't know. I think people who really know me know I'm not an asshole,
Yeah.
But most people don't know me and they think I'm an asshole.
What think you're asshole?
I don't know. In my mind, everyone thinks I'm an asshole.
Nah.
Yeah? Really? Man, where did I get this idea? I guess it's all the people who call me an asshole on a daily basis. Is this going the way you want it to go?
Yeah.
Are you sure? It's just, it bothers me when nerds are that cocky. You know what I mean? That's what bullying is for. To keep them in line, and then they get all cocky, and then they fucking Elon Musk happens. You know what I mean? Like Bill Gates, Mark, all these fucking nerds. Like what built them was like this anger from like getting bullied by cooler people their whole lives, and then like having the drive to be like, I'll fucking show them. And then that's like the K rage. That's the K rage. You know the K rage, right?
Korean rage?
Yeah, you never heard of K rage?
No.
I think it might be more of a Korean American thing.
Oh.
But that's like this, like, I'll fucking show them and I'll be the best at this shit.
Oh,
Fuck
yeah,
everybody, like that mentality. Yeah, yeah.
Is that
But no, I think we should. It's worth saying, like the Koreans are doing fucking great.
Oh,
you
thanks.
know, like just saying, like the influence that they're having, like on American culture. Like I don't think anybody was expecting that. You know, like the crossover appeal of like the pop artists and shit. You know, like it's nuts, dude.
I was just thinking yesterday, though, like sometimes I talk too much about like Korean stuff in my material.
Nah.
Sometimes I feel like it's like alienating.
No. I think that's like what's kind of unique is that experience is very specific and it's relatable too. Because like even though like you're a Korean immigrant, like just having an immigrant experience makes you relatable to anybody who has an immigrant experience, and then just that pressure to succeed and stuff like that. And then all Asians, like that's also pretty like common. Like even though the Korean thing is unique to Korean, like the Chinese immigrants, they have the same pressure. Like you got to succeed in life. Like Japanese is like it's like kind of same across the board. Like the Asian thing, like that drive is nuts, dude.
But maybe like white people will have a hard time relating. Like, cause maybe I should start talking more about like Italian stuff or something.
No. Unless you had like do you have experience with Italians? Like, did you grow up around Italians? or anything?
One of my friends was Italian. That's it.
I don't know if that qualifies. I had a single Italian friend growing up, which is why all my material is about Italians. I'm not used to being on camera. It was very uncomfortable. Was it weird if I just keep looking at the camera?
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I think it's better if we like supernatural. Like we pretend, like we have to pretend like it doesn't exist.
I know, like, but it's just like I don't know how fucking like reality TV stars and shit, like they're getting followed around by a crew and they're trying to be like, hey, what are we having for dinner today? Oh, and there's a fucking camera right there the whole time.
It's hard to pretend.
Yeah, I can't pretend, man. Like I'm just gonna address the camera. It's fucking creepy. All right. But it's just weird. I was thinking about that. You know, like everybody thinks like that's what social media did. Is like it made everyone think that they're like some kind of star of their own reality TV show. I was thinking about that. I have a joke about it now. I'll just say it. But basically, that like especially like the younger generations, like it's like they all think they're gonna grow up and be famous, and it's like, do you really think you're that interesting? You know, like, and then like all they're talking about is like their gender and their sexual identities, and it's like if that's the most interesting thing about you, then dare I say, maybe you're not that interesting. You know. So that's the joke. I don't know. We'll see how it does.
You should say it at the Hollywood Improv. It's all pretty much.
Yeah, dude. Dude, like.
I need to reserve my words.
Yeah. This is all gonna get cut, but no, that's the vibe I get, dude. Like, it's funny because I went to the Laugh Factory actually, and I went one time, and and I got up.
Oh, damn.
I did get up. Like, first time I went, and then I actually got up, and I was doing really good, you know.
Nice.
But like they want clean material, and I was pretty clean. I did all my cleanest stuff, but the content was like it was too like whatever, not what they were like. They wanted very safe content, like material. No, I didn't ask. I should have asked. because they did give me extra time. They only give you 2 minutes, but they
Oh.
gave me an extra minute, so I think they were like curious, like okay, let's see what else they say. But the
Oh.
guy that they passed, it was more like
Clean guy.
clean stuff.
What?
Fine,
What
but
did you do? Which
oh, I was talking about white people and shit.
Liberal, my
Liberal.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, but like that's like, but it was too, I don't know.
Edgy.
Maybe they want like just very safe, clean stuff is because those people they're not gonna take a chance. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna the shows that they're gonna put those people on are gonna be like midweek kind of like like showcase type shows, and it's just gonna be a general audience who's not really coming for any specific comedian necessarily. Like they're just going out to see a show, and they're not gonna fucking take a chance on some unknown who the fuck is this guy like trying to like give it to him straight. They're just gonna
That's true.
and that's why like I realized like I'm not gonna like I gotta build my Instagram following because no one's gonna take a chance on me.
Oh,
No,
that's
that's why I'm doing
true,
this.
though.
Like we're gonna fucking build from the. No, I don't know. No, I think the other part of it is like I kind of get it. It's like yeah, why would they like take it? Like who are you? Like with your 200 Instagram followers. Like if you have like a following,
Yeah.
then they will. But that's just the sense that I get. But I think you're right about like that's where I got it from, like the Hollywood Improv, like seeing the kind of stuff that they like. And it's like very, it's like stuff that anybody is, it's just non-offensive to anybody. I think that's the point. Like, if it's offensive to any group, any specific, even small group of people, even if it's good, then like they're kind of like, oh, I don't know about that. Like, whereas if it's just about like, oh, oh, I had a crazy day the other day and stuff like that, it's just like it's not offensive to anybody, so then it works, right?
Like vanilla.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and it's and then I was thinking about like my stuff, and it's offensive. All of it's offensive to somebody. Is what I realized. Yeah.
There was a time when I didn't go back to the improv for a while because I bombed. Because like sometimes I try to be edgy, like talking about like semen retention and stuff.
I like your edgy stuff. Like what I like about it is that it's a contrast because some of your other stuff is not at all like that, and then out of nowhere you're talking about because like cocks and shit. You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, where did that come from? But it's funny because it's like you don't expect it, and it's and I like that because that exists with everybody. Like you come off as very like a kind, sweet, thoughtful person, which you are, but kind, thoughtful, sweet people also think about like getting laid and stuff like that. Like that's just normal. So like it's kind of refreshing to like see it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I did bomb though.
Yeah. Dude, but that's the thing. Like that's what I'm realizing at these open mics, dude. It's like you just gotta at a certain point just trust yourself because like. Every time you do, I'm sure you've done shit at mics that is bombed, and then you've done it at other mics that were did really well, or you had a show where it did super well. Like at a certain point, you have to just like decide for yourself. Like, nah, I know that works. Like, fuck you. Like, not to be like fuck you, but just like understand, like they're not into it at this moment because there could be a million things going on, right? Like people are in their own heads or whatever. And I've also like done mics where there's no point in even doing material because no one gives a shit. Like no one, the mood is not there. And then it's kind of like if you just start doing a lot of crowd work, it's hard to get into your material, like to like just switch into it. And sometimes mics are just like that, where it's just like you can't get into your material because like no one's in the mood for it or something like that. So, but no, but the improv. Are you talking about improv or are you talking about like doing the improv mics?
It was the Hollywood Improv where
I
started talking about semen and.
Oh shit! Oh, when you went up?
You're not supposed to have semen there, apparently.
Yeah. So like, that bombed at the Hollywood Improv.
Yeah.
Like what worked though? Because I'm sure there was jokes that you did that totally
Like
worked.
you were saying, like the vanilla.
The clean stuff. Yeah. Nah, probably if you just did like that's where you gotta like sell out and just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna like I know this is what you want. I'll just fucking do that. Maybe it's worth it because then like once you're in it, then you can start taking more risks and probably doing that. But then maybe not. Maybe like fuck them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and just like I'll tell you this. And I know none of this is usable, but it's just between us.
Yeah.
But like I feel like at the Comedy Chateau, like and a lot of people talk shit about it, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the vibe. Like how many shows have you done at the Comedy Chateau?
Well, they were asking me to do the bringers, but I couldn't bring anybody, so I haven't been back.
Oh, okay. Like who's the person that like was it Lynn?
Yeah, Lynn, Irina.
Okay, so basically it's just that it's like you have to bring people.
Yeah.
But I would come to your shows. Just do a 10 o'clock
really?
show. Yeah.
Have you been doing Chateau?
I've done several shows there. Yeah. And like, but most of them, like, yeah, like you can do what you want. Like I did like a Michael Jackson joke there that fucking worked, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And then I did that same joke at Flappers, and like it got like, oh, you know, like one of those responses, like you're not supposed to do that joke.
Flappers is very.
I think Flappers is in line very much with like what you were talking about with the other places. Yeah. How do you feel about Flappers, by the way?
You also
For the record, as a host, an employee.
This is all going into
Yeah.
You're not supposed to talk about religion there. What the fuck?
Oh, you can't even talk about religion
Yeah,
there?
I did that little thing about the Bible, talking about lactose, like the river. It was just.
Oh, the milk and honey. Yeah.
They got super.
No.
Yeah.
Who got offended? Like just the crowd?
Audience, yeah.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Dude, like Flappers is like Disneyland. That's how it feels like to me.
Yeah.
It's like such a like, and you know what else about Flappers? Take this. Like you can't walk in the back without just smelling like sewage. You know what I mean? By like in that little area where the Yoo-hoo room is, where the bathrooms are, it just smells like sewage. Have you had not experienced this? Okay, maybe it's just there when I'm there. Just do what you're gonna do, and like who gives a shit? Which is easy to say, but yeah, like I do that all the time, and it like, and then I'll bomb, you know, and then it still hurts. It just like.
You went in with the intent to offend people, right?
No, I'm not trying to offend people. That's the thing that people like get wrong about me.
No.
Like I'm not trying to be offensive. In my mind, I'm not offensive.
That's why I'm always rooting for you. Okay, who's more gonna offend? I think it's so much fun. That's what I'm thinking about.
But no, that's like it's weird. I mean, I guess I know that some people will be offended.
Yeah.
That's true. Like I know, some people are gonna be offended. But no, it's like. But it's what I'm really thinking about, and I just feel like I want to say it, so I'm like willing to take the chance. Like, yeah.
Oh, okay. So I got it wrong. So that what time it was like the Jen, a couple of like black girls and then people in the audience, and then you just the fourth wall, and then I knew you were gonna do the Michael Jackson joke.
Yeah.
So obviously that was not gonna. Yeah. So I knew that. So I thought you were doing it intentionally.
No. See, that's like there's a part of me too that's just like yeah, there is a part that intentionally wants to upset people.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh.
Yeah, that's there too.
Oh, right.
I'd be lying if no, because like I don't, but it's not like part of it is I just want to see what the reaction like because like I'm pushing like to like see okay, like let's see how they're gonna take this like to like just see that boundary, you know, and it's like okay, black people don't want to hear jokes about Michael Jackson. Like he's like you can't. They don't want like most, you know, like. But I'm curious, like to see what about like how far can I go with the Michael Jackson joke?
Right.
It's interesting though. Yeah.
Any black people laughed at that?
No. Now that I think about it, I'm trying to think. No, there's gotta been like has there generally speaking? Yeah, like. Any Michael Jackson joke never goes well with black people. That's actually what I realized. Yeah, I think it's because like he's like a hero, and then the other thing too is that like it's still never been proven technically, so they're kind of clinging to that. It's like that these are accusations. I mean, but I saw the HBO documentary. Did you see the HBO?
Yeah.
It was pretty fucking convincing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think these dudes are just making this shit up. They got nothing to gain from it, you know? So it's like, and even if he didn't do it, let's just say in a world he really didn't do it, like throwing sleepovers with 13-year-old boys is fucking creepy, you know? So that alone should like be like, okay, you can do the Michael Jackson jokes, you know? Like that should be enough, but it's not. I get it, you know. Like, I mean, it's weird because on the other hand, like I think you also have compassion for Michael Jackson in a weird way because he was fucking pimped out by his dad since he was a kid, you know, and he never had a childhood, and that's why he got all weird and shit, right? So I think there's also sympathy for Michael Jackson, like legitimate that he was kind of a victim of those circumstances. And then he became all weird, and it's like, well, that's why it became all weird. But at the same time, does that fucking excuse like if he really did do all that shit? No, you know. At the very least, and the point of that joke was that they shouldn't be fucking making musicals about him. You know what I mean? Like, even of an alleged pedophile, like, why are you doing musicals about someone like that? Like, it's just because they're trying to cash in. That's the point. And that's kind of what the point of the joke was. But I think they just hear, Michael Jackson, and then they get upset.
Is that part in the musical, like him sleeping with boys?
No, no, that was the joke. That was the joke. Is I'm just curious. I want to see the musical because I'm curious about how they choreographed the child rape scenes. You know, I just hope it was done tastefully. So that was the joke. But dude, like I posted that and it got like backlash. You know, yeah, that's one of my worst like feedback videos.
I want to know more.
Yeah, no. So I work at a theater, a non-profit theater in Boyle Heights,
Yeah.
and it's and I've been there for like 13 years.
13 years.
Yeah, and we started just like as a tiny little black box space, and now like we've grown into much bigger, newer space and all this stuff, and like we do a lot of good work. It's a really good place. It's like we do all these classes for youth for free, and there's a lot of kids who've come through there and like gone on and have real careers.
Nice.
And I don't want to name drop, but I'm gonna name drop. The Blue Beetle, like he came through our classes and stuff. Sholo Maridueña, like he's one of the. He was in Cobra Kai. He plays the main kid in that show.
Really?
That kid, yeah.
An actor?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
So he started
You
in.
knew?
Well, yeah, since he was like a kid,
Oh my God.
because he went through our programs, like, and then he went and has a career. But there's a lot of other kids like that too. But it's not like we just do kids programming. Like we do like classes for adults. We do all these like play festivals, all these things, and it's all very connected to the community and like highlighting diversity and all this kind of stuff. It's good work.
What's the theater called?
Casa 0101.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's what I do. So I'm a development
director.
director. Development. So like
Oh,
I have to
that's
raise
awesome.
money. Yeah, yeah. I was a screenwriter and wrote this play that was pretty famous. It's called Real Women Have Curves, and then that got a lot of notoriety. Like and
Oh, man.
you know America Ferrera, right? It doesn't. You don't know anybody. Jesus Christ.
Why are you gonna make fun of me? Of the first video into.
I'm from Boyle Heights. That's where I'm from, like East LA. Dude, have you not listened to any of my material? I talk about this, Terry.
You did?
Just kidding. Yeah, I talk a little bit about it.
Part. I was like, dang.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. That's the only thing that's.
But you didn't want to go to UCLA?
You know, I got a scholarship to UCLA.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and I fucking turned it down.
How much did you get?
It was like full ride.
What?
Yeah.
That's dream, dude.
Dude, and then I just like turned it down because like I don't want to be in LA,
Oh.
and I was just that cocky. I was like, I'll get rich anyway at some point. Like I don't need a scholarship. Who gives a fuck? Like that's how cocky I was. And then of course like I totally dropped out and I just had like $20,000 of student debt. You know, like that's what it does. That was the right karmic thing to happen to me. For like the kid who like was too cocky to take a full ride to UCLA and just like I just go to Berkeley. Like you know, like I don't want to stay in LA. And I because I didn't get a scholarship to Berkeley, so like, and now I just ended up with like 20 grand of student debt and like no degree and nothing. I don't even have an AA, you know. My barber has an AA. It's like
Well, you don't need it though,
no, at this point it doesn't matter. It's funny. My mom is still delusional because she's Asian, and she's just like, "You're gonna go back to college, right? You're gonna finish to get your degree." And I'm like, "No, hell no."
want it?
No, I hated college. It was horrible. It was a terrible experience for me.
It's fun. You don't have to work.
No, I was like you. Like, I was an incel. Just kidding.
You remember weird things. When did I tell you that I was incel?
No, I just assumed. I'm sorry. I regret that, you know. And it was like some of the worst years of my life. Like, I was a total incel. But not because it wasn't my fault. Like, I just had incel friends. And like when you spend enough time with other incels, like you become an incel. This shit is infectious. You know what I mean? It's true. Like they would just play video games all day.
Oh, what kind of video games?
Warcraft, fucking Counter-Strike, just like.
Oh, I was into those.
Dude, I was too, man.
How old were you, Mark?
Huh?
How old are you?
I don't want this on film. How old do you think I am?
1985?
1985? 84. Wow, that's a good guess.
What? Right? It was right.
Yeah. 84. 39. I'm 39. Yeah, I started comedy at 38. It's a little late. A little late in the game, you know? I think about that a lot. I'm just like, yeah, it's like I wish like I had started in my 20s, you know? But I wasn't even thinking about that at all. Like I was like I wanted to be a musician. Like that was my goal, yeah. And then I just like got caught up in like starting a family and fucking just doing all that shit.
When did you meet your wife?
Like 2009, and I had just gotten out of jail.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I was like on the streets like playing guitar, It's true. It's true. Yeah, downtown. I was in downtown LA. Like I would
You were
just spend all
homeless?
day. No, I was like living at my mom's house, like
Oh.
apartment, but like it's in Boyle Heights, so it's like 10 minutes to downtown. I would just go to downtown every day and play guitar.
Why'd you do that?
I don't know.
For money or?
No, like I wasn't making shit. I made like $10 a day if I was lucky, you know. I just was just do. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah,
Oh, you're like a hippie.
not like a hippie though. More like a.
Bohemian.
There's nothing bohemian about it. It was more like just like a bum. It was like a bum, like more like a bum, like who just like with a vague idea of like playing music on the street.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like that.
Were you trying to be like whoever was big at the time? Like
I don't think so.
no.
Like I don't know what the fuck I was doing, dude.
Oh, man.
I was out of it. I was smoking weed. I was just smoking weed and then hanging out in downtown all day, playing guitar in alleys, and like with not even a lot of people around. That's the other thing. I wasn't like looking for audiences. I was just like had just doing that for some reason.
Because of your friends, your incel friends.
No. At that point, I had ditched my incel
Okay.
friends. So like that's kind of what happened. Like I left Berkeley, and that's kind of how I got away from them, you know. And I kind of wasn't sure what I was gonna do, cause like a part of me like just wanted to go back to school. I was just like I gotta go back to school and finish.
Yeah.
Like that's what I have to do. But then I wasn't doing that, and then I met my wife.
How'd you meet your wife?
Through my sister.
Oh.
Yeah. And like once like we got together, then I was like, oh shit, like I gotta get my shit together.
Oh.
So then I got a job. Like that's how I ended up working at this theater.
Gotcha.
And then I just been there ever since.
Oh.
And then we got married, and then we bought a house. We had
Yeah.
kids, and then the shit like that.
It sounds like she was
Yeah.
a good influence on you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, she's been a very good influence. She's supportive too of the comedy thing. Yeah, for the most part. It's fucking hard with kids, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, dude, like you don't know how good you have it here, man. You have no idea in this apartment by yourself. You know, you gotta take stock. Like I'm telling you, like there's a lot of free. Like I'm sure it's cripplingly depressing, but the level of freedom, you know what I mean? There's a lot of freedom too. Like I think it's easy to get caught up in like how you're not getting laid, how like you have no friends, how like your career's going nowhere, nobody likes you. But don't get hung up on that, Terry. Don't get hung up on that. You got to think of the upsides. You know, you got to go to bed whenever you want. You don't have to pick anybody up in the morning. I'm just fucking with you. No, but you know what I'm saying. First of all, a lot of people like you, and I'm sure that
Too late, Mark.
it's hard to pull back on that. Huh? I'm trying to backpedal, but it doesn't seem genuine.
How old are your kids?
7 and 5.
What are their names?
I'm telling you
Why
that.
not?
What are you gonna look them up?
Well, I'm gonna look them up.
All right. Izumi and Akira.
Oh, they're Japanese names.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
I mean, it was just. I did it to spite the Koreans, you know.
Nothing to do with this.
Just kidding. By the way, I feel bad now. No, I'm just like obviously I'm fucking around, but the point I make, like, I have a lot of respect for you, like what you're doing, you know.
Just living by myself.
No, like, because like that's part of it, but like the amount of courage it takes to go somewhere new
Oh,
and
thanks,
like
Mark.
pursue something that you really care about and to like express yourself artistically and do that every day and like in the face of just like fucking open mic crowds, like that'll destroy anybody, right? But keep going and then you're always like trying shit, like, you know what I mean? You're always working on new stuff. You're always experimenting. You're always doing things. Like you're doing it.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. And like there's like some truth to that too. Like just that's the point I'm making. There's a lot of freedom in that. At some point,
Yeah,
you're,
freedom too.
yeah, so sort of, but no, I have like freedom within very strict boundaries, like I have to get up at 6:30 every day because I got to take my kids to school. I got to get them ready, I got to be at work at this time, but then I have this little opening and that's the freedom. And that's when I go do mics, and then at night it's kind of similar. Like, okay, I could go to a show at 10 o'clock because the kids are in bed and I can go out. But if I want to do a show like at 7, like a more like 8 o'clock type show, the amount of planning that has to go into it, like okay, like we need a babysitter or like you know what I mean, like to make sure that the kids are gonna be okay for the rest of the night. It's like a lot. So
Are you tired?
all the time,
Oh,
yeah. But I've been sleeping more lately, yeah. And that's why, like, I don't know. Have you been in the Fanatic Salon? Have you been? Is this going the way you wanted to go?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
this is fun.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep going.
Um,
Yeah. A lot of this is gonna be unusable. Totally
Yeah.
unusable. And I'm gonna come off like an asshole. But you know what?
I'm gonna cut off the part where you're an asshole, and then I'm gonna put captions on it.
Oh really? Okay, you can do that. But no, like, yeah. I don't know. It's weird because, like, I don't know. I think people who really know me know I'm not an asshole, you know?
Yeah.
But most people don't know me and they think I'm an asshole.
What is your asshole?
I don't know. In my mind, everyone thinks I'm an asshole.
Nah.
Yeah? Really? Man, where did I get this idea? I guess it's all the people who call me an asshole on a daily basis.
Maybe that one time where you remember when Hollywood Comedy opened mic, and
Yeah.
then with a bunch of girls, and
Oh, yeah.
you called them the unfunny woman support group.
Did I say that? Oh, man, I guess that just slipped out. Man. Oh, really? Yeah. Dude, it was pretty awesome that, like, when you had, what was it, Alex? Dude. Yeah, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about this.
No, it was
Look,
embarrassing for me.
dude, like, no, but it was, but it's like a natural reaction, dude. Like, it's okay. And you handled it well, you know, but it was just so funny because, like, that's where you're going to take your stand. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure, like, people have done way worse shit, you know, like, people have, like, been mean to you, but then you're like, this, not today. Not today. And he was, I don't remember what he said. He was just like, oh, he was just trying to do crowd work. He was just trying to do crowd work. And you're like, just stick to your material. That was good though.
He was doing bad crowd.
No, that's true. Actually, he was trying to like call you out because I think you were on your phone for a second or something
Oh,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah, it
okay.
was something like that. And then he was trying to call you out. But no, you weren't even that rude. That's the truth. But like everyone is so used to being so nice that everyone was like, oh shit. Oh shit. And he didn't even know how to take it. He was like, I wasn't expecting that. Terry's usually really nice. But then after that, like, you came back well anyway. You're like,
Thanks.
yeah, you're like, hey, you know, like, cause like, you know, it's easy. Like when you get like upset, like in those moments, it's easy to elevate it to like, you know, like once you're there to like double down and be like, no, fuck you.
No.
You know what I mean? But to like be at that space and then be able to be like, I'm gonna take, I'm gonna,
Thanks, Mark.
no, that takes a lot to be able to do that because like most people, the way it is, it's like once they get to that point, like then it just keeps going, and then it takes a really long time to come back down. But people who have like awareness and like social intelligence stuff like that, they'll feel that point like you did. Like it's like this guy is like bothering me, and then it might come out for a second, and it's just like, you know, and then there's an awkward moment. But then they recognize it and it's like, oh, you know what? Like, I know what's going on here. And you can check yourself. Like, that takes a lot of, you know, awareness. It takes a lot of emotional intelligence to be able to do that.
Thanks. I'm
Yeah.
usually.
I shouldn't have gotten upset in the first place. I think.
I'm like,
But that's
really
impossible.
awkward.
No, but that's impossible too, you know? Like, sometimes you're going to get upset. That's going to happen no matter what. So, like, it's just really in those moments when you are upset, like, how do you handle it? Like, and you might show frustration. But showing frustration for a moment and then recognizing it and then acknowledging it is a lot better than showing frustration and then doubling down and be like, nah, yeah, fuck you. You know what I mean? So there's something to that. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So we're doing this. This is I wasn't expecting to go like this. I don't know what I was
It's
going
fine.
to do. But am I your first guest?
Yeah.
I'm the inaugural guest?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't even know the word inaugural.
Yeah. That's just means.
Wait,
Can
Mark,
we talk about something?
Yeah.
It might be a little bit sensitive.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I think you've talked about it at Mike's before.
All right.
Like, why did you
Yeah.
go to prison?
Oh, it wasn't prison, it was jail. Big difference. All right?
oh, so you were just like there overnight or something?
No, I was there for a few months. But
Wait, I thought jail was like a temporary holding space for.
no, you can do like a year in jail.
Oh.
Yeah. Like you can like and it's preferable usually. You know, like when I was in there, people were like, "Oh, I'd rather be in county for a year
Yeah.
than like go to," because it was in the Bay Area. So like it would have been, I think, San Quentin. That would have been the prison.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. No, I was looking at like a couple of years in prison. So basically, but luckily they didn't press charges. You know, I got in a fight. That's essentially what happened.
Yeah. So it was like a battery thing?
It was like a felony assault. You know.
Mm.
Yeah.
It wasn't self-defense.
Arguable. You know, it's a long story. I won't go into details. So I've been in jail twice. You know, both times in Oakland. This is what I was talking about, like living in Berkeley. it was just a bad time for me. You know, a lot of shit was going on. I was an incel. I was depressed.
But you're like 20, 21.
Yeah, I was in my early 20s. Yeah. And do you feel like do I do it like a lot of jokes about white liberal women?
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Is that because
Yeah.
it works well, or you just naturally?
Oh no! I genuinely hate them. No. You know what it is? Like I don't really have a problem with white liberal women. I really don't. I have a problem with anybody. But I think like what white liberal women are to me, like they're, if I had to like just like, I thought about it a little bit, and it's like, it's, if there's a group of like with the highest ratio of virtue signalers, you know, in a population, it's white liberal women. Like nobody virtue signals like white liberal women, you know, specifically. And there's like a level of just, you know, there's a joke by this guy named Louis Katz. He's a comedian, like who not a lot of people know, but he's really good, and he does this joke, and it's about liberal white women, you know. And he basically says, liberal white women, such an intoxicating mix of victimhood and privilege. That's what it is. That's his joke. It's a fucking great joke.
Not true.
Yeah. So that's what it is, and that's exactly what it is. It's that intoxicating mix. But he frames it in a better way. He's like, oh, I love liberal white women. Like there's such an intoxicating blend of victimhood and privilege. Like that's how he does it, which is a better way of doing it than the way I do it, which is just like angry, you know. But that's all it is. That's all it is. And no, and of course not. You know, like there's a lot of liberal white women that I really like Brene Brown.
Well, can we talk about your half Jewish, half
Yeah.
Japanese?
Yeah.
So your parents are
Yeah.
Angelino?
No, so my dad, he passed away in 2022. Like he was Jewish, and he born in New York, but he moved to LA when he was a kid, when he was little. Yeah, and my mom is a Japanese immigrant, like from Japan.
Yeah.
Poor. She was like a poor Japanese immigrant, and she moved to LA to like study English, and then she met my dad.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and what they had in common, how they met each other, was they were both Buddhists. So both my parents were Buddhists, and that's how they met. And like I grew up a Buddhist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but my parents, like, it was like we were poor, like all our lives, like growing up, and then my parents got divorced when I was like 12. So then we just lived with my mom basically.
Oh,
and
really?
she was a waitress. She worked as a waitress my whole life, and like my dad didn't really like. He was around. But he was like, he had like Asperger's. He had like mild autism. So he just struggled all the time, like to just take care of himself.
Yeah.
So he didn't really take care of us. Like I would see him like maybe once a week, and we'd get dinner or something like that. Like he was functional. Like when my parents divorced, like me and my mom and sister moved into like a tiny little apartment in Boyle Heights, and that's how we survived. But she just worked as a waitress, and she's like almost 70 now, and she works in elder care. She like takes care of old people.
Your mom?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm like Jesse Tugas.
No.
No, I like what you're doing because you're like interviewing good comics. Like that's like a great approach. Jesse Tugas is like, it's just like his production value is so high. Like his podcast looks amazing.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
The way he edits it and everything, like it looks amazing. And then it's like all the comics are like open mic people. You know what I mean? I don't like he's trying to learn about comedy, and he's gonna learn it from open mic comedians. I love that they go on there and they're just like, you know, like let me teach you about comedy, Jesse. You know?
Did you edit this part out?
I don't know. I think this will probably do well.
I mean, it's the same thing with us.
No, but like you're not like asking me about like what my philosophy on comedy is. You know what I mean? You're like, you don't give a shit. And
No,
you shouldn't.
I do care about
All
it.
right.
Wait, can we talk about Buddhism for a second?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Do you still do it?
Hold on. In case you don't edit it out,
Yeah.
I like Jesse Tugas.
All right.
And his podcast looks amazing. And all those comedians are the best comics in LA. Like, I was listening to his episode, and then I got through like 20 minutes of it, and I was just like, I don't give a shit. And that's what happened. And then I listened to like, you know, another episode with somebody else. 20 minutes into it, I was just like, I don't give a shit. Yeah, like you got like I don't know. Yeah. How do you feel about not making E and I or Russo's list of 100 best comedians in LA?
Actually, you're talking about the Jewish dad with autism, so I guess you
Yeah.
share
Yeah,
share
that's
a little
what.
bit of the Ian.
Yeah, totally. Which is why I'm like sympathetic, you know? Like everybody else is just, you know what I mean? But I'm always like, I understand. I understand what this guy's like doing, you know what I mean? I'm still pissed that I didn't even get an honorable mention on his fucking list. Yeah, totally. One of my favorite comedians is Gary Goldman. Do you know Gary Goldman?
Sounds
You gotta check out Gary Goldman because he's like he's a clean comedian. He's very clean, but he's really good
okay.
and like really, and he doesn't like honestly like he doesn't really like he never punches down, anything like that. He's not recognized for how good he is, But he did one of my favorite comedy specials is when he did. It's called Born on Third Base.
Okay.
No, it's weird because
I'll watch it.
I like aspire to that. Like I want to be clean like that, and not talk shit. But it just I like it just comes out. Comedy, like I really do feel like comedy is so tied to the time that it's happening.
Yeah.
That it's very rare that there's comics from like way back when that you could like listen to and be like, oh, that's great. Like for me, George Carlin is one of those people
shit, yeah.
where you could go back and see all this stuff and be like, it was great then, it's great now, it's pretty timeless. But that's pretty rare actually, because I think like comics exist in a place and time, and they're so a part of that it's hard to relate to. Like Lenny Bruce, right? Like, have you listened to Lenny Bruce's stuff?
Just in clips.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and I know he's like one of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
But yeah, at that time, because there's a context, it's like nobody was saying that stuff. Like it was so like revolutionary like that.
Yeah.
But in our time, that's not our time. So like
Yeah.
seeing it there, we're kind of like, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah.
It's like, gosh, it's done. I don't want to get.
Even Richard Pryor to me was a little bit.
Yeah, I mean he's like one of the all-time greats, right? There's certain Richard Pryor things that I'm like, oh man, that's like totally timeless, But no, but some of it is. It's just like, because it's a different time, and it's hard to relate to that because things have changed so much. Yeah. But there are things that from all those like really great ones that are still totally relevant and timeless and all that stuff too. But it's hard. I think it's like with that. Whereas with music, there's a great song recorded. Like I still mostly listen to music from like the '60s, and that's really timeless. You know what I mean?
What do you listen to?
All the Beatles and stuff like that. Yes, I could with it. I built a studio for 2 years. I really try to like just focus on music as much as I could, but I wasn't creating. That's the big difference. Like I got good. Like I can listen to music and play it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like on different instruments and things like that. Like.
What, really?
Yeah. Like if you played a song, I could figure it out for you pretty quickly and play it on whatever. So like I picked up skills like that, and but I wasn't writing songs, and all I really wanted to do was write songs. And there was kind of like a block, But then with comedy, when I started doing it, that's not the case. Like I can create, and like that is what draws me to it more than anything. That's it. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. But I still love music, and I'm not like ever gonna stop playing music, and I'm gonna keep trying. But now I actually feel like I have this outlet where I can create something, and then that's what comedy is, and that's why it's like I love it, Yeah. Like I feel like the pink works well. Are the ears in the right area? Like it's funny. There's certain things that like kill with my kids, and like this is gonna kill. This image. But also, dude, this is hilarious. Like my daughter the other day, I'm like sitting there. She's 7. She pulled down her pants completely to show her butt, and then she farted on me. Yeah.
She's a comedian.
Yeah, just to like mess with me. Like she just thought it was hilarious, and I was just like I felt the heat of the fart on my leg, and I was like, and you totally committed to that, like to pull down your pants to fart. Like there's a difference between being funny and having a good sense of humor. Like, and I think having a good sense of humor is understanding what funny is, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're funny.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate people with a really good sense of humor. Yeah.
You look ridiculous, by the way.
Hold on. Can we combine this? Yeah, that's how I should have done it.
You mentioned that she's Mexican.
Yeah. Like you had a follow-up question to that,
Do you
right?
like burritos?
No, thank you for doing your research. Like, yeah, no, we were saying. So, are you a taco man or a burrito man? I still haven't gone up at the Hollywood Improv. I've been there 3 times, and I never got called. And then, but it's probably good because I know that at the time I didn't know that like you gotta be very careful about what you do over there. So now I kind of know it, you know.
Nice.
And so if I can't even go back there because my daughters have music lessons on Tuesday, so I'm like booked up all day Tuesday. So my older daughter was doing piano, and then like she didn't want to do it anymore. So now like we're moving her to violin. She's trying out violin.
Wow, it's very Asian of you.
It's super Asian, right? I know. Like, and
I
then
didn't
if
even do violin.
yeah, if that doesn't work, the cello is obviously next. But then my other daughter's also doing piano, so we'll see.
Oh, there were 2 daughters.
I have 2 daughters, yeah,
Oh.
7 and 5, yeah. And no, but that's like when I was a kid, because I grew up like we were poor, but my mom had like Japanese friends, and they had more money, and all their kids were always in doing music lessons, and they would do like piano and violin. So I never wanted to do that shit. Yeah, I was just like,
I thought you were going to say you envy.
no. I was like, I'm not touching that shit. Like I wanted to play football. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to, like I love football. Like
really?
that's what I was into. Yeah.
Were you athletic as a kid?
Yeah.
Were you still athletic?
I don't know. I haven't done shit in like 10 years. Like it's weird though because no, like my whole life, like when I was a kid, like from like 5 to 10, I did judo.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I was like, I would compete like
damn.
nationally, all that.
Yeah.
And then I stopped doing judo when I was 10 because I really love football, and I would like just play football all the time and throw and stuff like that. And I could really throw,
Nice.
like I could really throw a football. I'll say it, I can throw a football, you know. And but I'm short. Like I was never gonna be in the NFL. Like I realized that.
You're like a
Yeah.
self auto.
Didact.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Like everything I've
That's
learned,
awesome.
I've had to like kind of teach myself. Yeah, it's hard to make friends, you know,
Yeah.
in the open mic community. I mean, part of it is probably just because you're only seeing each other for like brief periods, so you don't really get to like sit down and talk to anybody and like see how people are doing and things like that. So that's actually a good point, dude.
I also don't
Yeah.
stick around after my. Apparently, that's what you're supposed to do, but like
Oh, okay.
I don't like interacting with people that much.
Yeah, dude, you get out of there quick. Dude, I used to. Do you have a car?
Yeah.
I used to think you just took a bus. Like, cause you get out of there so quick. It's like you get your bags and you're like this, like I'm gonna miss a train. You know what I mean?
I don't like
People that much.
No, I didn't realize that. Like, I honestly thought like, oh, he's gotta catch a bus. Like that's what's going on.
This guy doesn't have a car.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
stick around after night?
No, generally like not much at all. Like I'll just say like bye like a normal person. but no, yeah. But I think that's part of what it is, you know. But it's weird, like because it's hard to like tell where people are at, and it's a weird vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And part of it too is because
It is a weird vibe.
it's a weird vibe, and because everybody's like, I mean, it's an interesting thing, and I see it from the outside. But people come here from all over the country, you know, and this is like what they're committing to. And they're giving up other things, other opportunities to be here and do this. So I get like the intensity, and that's part of what you're feeling, you know what I mean? And yeah.
And like depending on who's in the room, like I'm not gonna laugh at that. If they're not in the room, okay, I'll be like more lenient. Like it's like I can't wrap my head around like what's going on. I'm rather like not deal with any of that. Like it gets like so weird when somebody's in that room and somebody's not.
Yeah.
Well, who specifically? Like what kind of
I don't
people?
know.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes there's like the door guys from like the store.
Oh, see, I don't even know who those fuckers are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm starting to like figure it out, and I know what you're talking about. Yeah, like people want to be like in with certain people and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's funny, like there's like some door people at certain places that I see at like the mics, and I'm just like, a lot of them are like so fucking disrespectful. Like they're on their phone the whole time.
They're
like,
pretty bad. Like, they're
yeah,
not like that.
and it's like that's the other thing. It's like how, and they get to go up and like open at the Comedy Store and shit like that, and they get to like fucking get stage time with people there, like how privileged they are. They're just so disrespectful, you know, and probably because there's so much entitlement. And like, how lucky are you that you get to go up, you know? And there's people like who are twice your age that who would like kill to have the opportunities you have. Like, be gracious because you're so lucky, you know? And really be aware of how you're interacting with people and treating people.
I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I thought that like, hey, like I wanted to be like cause like an older brother figure. To like people who are younger than me, right? But nowadays, I think younger people are like, I can't stand them. Because cause like you're saying, like they're like pretty like privileged. They don't know like what the fuck they're talking about. Like, so like, totally. I get upset because like they act like pretty poorly.
Shitty, totally.
So I didn't understand that until like couple of weeks ago.
Oh really? This just happened? What did it for you?
I don't know. They were like they weren't laughing at each other's jokes. Like they came in a group and they were like 19, 20-year-old kids. And then they were just like trying to one up like
oh really?
Yeah, they were being like that little kids. So I'm like, okay, so that's what I'm dealing with. Like I don't have to treat you like an adult. Like you guys are still at that level.
There's something to that. And that's kind of like why I don't even call them out when I see them. Like when I see like someone like in their early 20s just being rude, they're on their phone the whole time, they don't give a shit, they're talking. Like a part of me before wanted to call them out, but it's just like they're in their 20s, like that's how they're gonna act, you know? And but it's not true necessarily, because there are people who are in their 20s that are respectful. And they don't do that shit.
That's
So
pretty rare, though.
it is pretty rare. So like I think when you do see that, then it's like it's good to acknowledge that. So maybe acknowledge the people when you do see it, like, hey man, you know, like, and just ignore those people, you know? Yeah, I don't know. It is pretty annoying though. It's like, but that's an interesting thing that you brought up, like this idea of, you know, being aware of who's in the room all the time and things like that. Like I think that's kind of what happened to me yesterday, because I called that dude out and I was kind of like, you know, he was being disrespectful and I said something, and then later, you know, I overhear that he opens for whoever and this kind of shit. And then but then I was like, but who gives a fuck? Like he's disrespectful, this guy's a dick. Like I'm glad I wasn't nice to him, you know? Like you shouldn't let that determine how you're going to treat people, you know?
That's true.
So it's just like, if you can just be consistent with yourself like that, I don't know. Because it's like, you know what else I realized? Like, no one's going to fucking go out of their way to help you at this stage, you know? Or if they do, it's going to be really rare, you know? And when that happens, like, you really got to acknowledge that and like, wow, like that's a big deal. Like if someone invites you on a show or like does something like that for you or reaches out or whatever, supports you in any way, that's a fucking big deal because it's pretty rare, you know?
That's true.
So yeah, but like to expect anyone to go out of their way for you, like everyone's trying to get to the same place. Like it's unlikely, you know, but so when it does happen, it's like, wow, you know, and you kind of really acknowledge it. Oh, that's really cool. You know? Like I could be doing comedy in 10 years. Or I could have long abandoned comedy in 10 years. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we'll see, man. It's hard for me to say. Like, I really enjoy doing it, and there's a reason why I'm doing it. But there's also, like, a part of me that, you know, I said I would give myself 2 years. So I've been at it for like a year and a few months. And depending on where I'm at, and once I hit the 2-year mark, is probably going to determine where I go with it. Because honestly, I miss playing music. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
I love your comedy.
Oh, really? Oh, that's really nice of you to say that. That thanks a lot.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Always,
yeah, you root for me?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Especially when you're like offensive.
Yeah.
That's pretty rare.
Wow.
To have the guts to do that.
Really? You see it that way?
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like,
oh, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. You know, like, there's very few people who've actually told me that.
What?
Yeah, you and Cat Bird are the only people. Believe it or not. Yeah.
Cat told you?
Yeah. So that was nice of her too. Like, to say, like, to understand that I'm actually trying to say something. I'm not trying to just offend people. I'm really not. Never actually. But I am trying to make a point, and if it's offensive, I'm okay with that. Does that make sense? And because the point is important enough to me that it's worth offending some people because I want to make that point. So that's actually really what it's about. I'm honestly never going up there to offend people intentionally. Like that's actually not at all.
In an ideal world, it would be great if everybody laughed at the thing that you're saying.
Probably not, because there has to be somebody who's upset by it almost. I don't know. You know, but no, I really appreciate you saying that because no, you don't get a lot of compliments in like this scene. You know, it's rare that people like genuinely say, "Oh, I like what you're doing," you know, or like I think whatever it is. But no, like all those little things add up, and I think that's why I keep going and I keep kind of trying because I do feel like I'm moving towards something. But yeah, it's hard, dude. You don't know what you're navigating. It's like you're on your own.
Yeah.
It's fucking brutal, man. And the shit that goes on in your mind and like the having to do battle with yourself and the self-doubt and like what the fuck am I doing, you know? But I think it's all part of it. And I do think that if you can align your personal growth and development as a person with the development of your art or comedy or whatever it is, really, then you're on the right track, you know, because it's helping you grow as a person too, you know, and comedy does that for me, like very specific. And I think that's why I do see myself continuing, you know, because that was the big difference. Like with music, as much as I love music, I was isolating myself and I created this studio and this space where I never needed to leave and it was just me. And I was like, yeah,
that's great, actually.
Yeah, but it was like, it's literally like a soundproof studio with everything I need to just be there by myself, like for as long as I want, you know, like a bunker almost, and just do music. And after I did that and I like worked in there for 2 years, I was like, I'm not happy doing this, you know, and I'm not pushing myself, challenging myself, and like growing, you know, and comedy is forced me to do that. And I'm sure with you too, right? It's like you were saying, you don't like talking to people, like you're awkward and stuff like that. So imagine how much you're growing as a person by doing this thing that forces you to like talk to people like that on that and to be vulnerable and really talk about what you're thinking about. Like the amount of personal growth that comes out of that is like amazing. And I think there's something about that, dude. Like in my experience, like, and I haven't been doing this long and I don't know even that many comedians, but like it seems like a lot of comedians are kind of like that, but they have that, you know, they're awkward, they almost want to be by themselves, you know, they're not extroverts necessarily, but somehow the process of doing comedy, it challenges them and forces them to do that. And that's why they stick to it, because they grow within that, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to get all philosophical and shit.
No, it's good.
Yeah. But no, like I appreciate you too, Terry. I've told you that, you know? I do, because I think you have a unique perspective. Thanks. And you're not afraid to try things, and you're not afraid to like I've seen you do shit where I was like, holy shit, man, that takes balls. You know what I mean? That takes real balls to go up and just try that shit, you know? So, like, you definitely have big balls, you know? And maybe that's a good place to end it. Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.